Hi friends, Prepared Suburbanite here. Just recently we had the opportunity to take a look at our get-home bags and compare their contents with our bug-out bags. And you know what? We've got them set up almost identical. We're going to take a look at what's in our get-home bags, take a look at what's in our bug-out bags, and try to trim our get-home bags down to something that's really going to be functional, that's really going to work for us. So stick around. Alright, so what we were using, I've got the medium-sized Red Rock backpack in a camo design color. It's actually digital camo. It weighs empty 3 pounds. I weighed it before we took all the stuff out, and it weighed 18 pounds. So that means I had 15 pounds of stuff in our get-home bag that I carried in the Jeep everywhere we went. And my wife's bag is the small Red Rock digital camo bag, and it currently weighs 12 pounds. The bag itself weighs about 2.5 pounds, so that means that there's somewhere between 10 and 11 pounds of stuff in hers. And we carried these both in the Jeep with us wherever we went ever since we retired and even before. Alright, here's the contents of my get-home bag. It's kind of surprising to see it all laid out, but I've got stuff that I really don't need in a get-home bag, with the premise being that we're going to be somewhere between 10 and 20 miles away from our home and have to get back with or without a vehicle, but we've got to hike it back somehow. 20 to 25 miles, I'll even go that far. My daughters live each about 25 miles from here, so if we're there and we want to get home and we've got to hike it because something has hit the fan, then I want to make sure that I've got enough stuff in a get-home bag to make sure that I can make that hike. And that's going to take at least a full day without stop, but maybe an overnight with a short break in there where you could catch a few winks. But look what I've put in the get-home bag, and it's accumulated over the last few years as we pick up new gear and this and that. We just continue to add to it without really taking a complete inventory. Okay, up in the far corner is a full-blown fire starting kit. It's got everything in there. It's got fat wood, it's got matches, it's got strikers, it's got tinder, ferro rods, all kinds of stuff in there. I'm not sure we're going to have enough time or the inkling to have to build a fire using that kind of a kit. Just a couple of Bic lighters I think would be simply enough. Next to that, I've got a pair of gloves, some paracord, I've got a stove, a little camping type stove, a camo handkerchief, pair of socks, a windbreaker, a poncho. Dropping down a level, you can see that there's a water bottle there. Got an MRE, got some emergency food ration bars, the kind that you pick up at Walmart. They're about $5 a piece. Got a snack bag there with some crackers and a Cliff Bar. My goodness, I almost forgot what they called them. A sheaf of aluminum foil. It's actually about 3 or 4 square feet right there. Got some hand warmers. Got a multi-tool there in that little black case. Set of matches, fire or waterproof matches there. I got a can of the mixed propane fuel, but no stove to power it. So why I'm carrying that, I have no idea. Got a little hygiene kit there with some toilet paper, that kind of stuff. Got a notepad there. It's not a write in the rain, just regular paper notepad. Got some cash. I think there's probably 50 bucks there in that one. Dropping down a level, got a survival blanket. In the icebreakers thing there is a small fishing kit. There's the Bic lighter, a plastic spork. The shiny thing there in the middle is a mirror, which I thought would be kind of handy for signaling. Got some backup batteries there. Those are AA batteries. Over by the MRE, there's a flashlight that takes AA batteries. Got a bar of soap there, a folding knife, really cheap one, extra Bic lighter, some chapstick, a 42-gallon contractor bag, a life straw, a cheap handsaw, got some wet ones, got a small first aid kit in that little fishing box right there, some bags, there's a whistle, got a knife, that's the Mora Black, got a whistle, got one of those drinking cups, and for whatever reason, some nail clippers, cuticle scissors, and a comb. That's what was in mine. This is the contents of my wife's get-home bag. Up in the upper corner is a hank of paracord, black. There's some that gelled hand cleanser, Write in the Rain notepad, a little ditty bag for her makeup, that kind of stuff, just for her. I don't wear makeup. An MRE, an emergency poncho, real cheap one that we picked up at Walmart. That's part of her kit. Got a life straw. She's got a shamag in hers. Got a copy of the SAS Survival Guide. Some backup batteries and some fire tinder in that little black pouch there. She's got a headlamp, the SOL bivvy, 2 bundles of zip ties, a Mora knife, and I'm not sure if that one may be the companion. She's got a sweatshirt in there, a bag of snacks, some coffee. We'll talk about how we're going to make that coffee, because we don't really have anything with us in our original plan to cook the coffee in. So why we take the ground coffee with us, I'll have no idea. Anyway, there's a snack pack there with some crackers and a Cliff Bar, the SOL emergency blanket, some more paracord, a pair of gloves, a hygiene kit with some toilet paper, toothpaste, that kind of stuff, the Berkey Blue Sport water bottle that's got its own little filter in it, the same one that I'm carrying in mine, the SOL survival blanket, and a small first aid kit. So that's the contents of my wife's get-home bag. So after examining the contents of both our get-home bags, it really struck me pretty hard that they're really not very practical. We've got duplicates of things that we may or may not need, and we're missing some vital equipment. Chances are, if we're out and about, we're going to be wearing regular clothes. Jeans maybe, pair of pants, shirt, t-shirt, a hat. Usually I'm going to have my everyday carry stuff with me, which is a pocket knife, a folding knife, the Ontario Rat 1 for me. 90% of the time I'm going to have my weapon with me, 6 Hour P938, either belt carried or concealed carried. Going to have that with me pretty much all the time. Going to have my wallet with my ID in it. I'm going to have a handkerchief and a comb, that kind of stuff in my pockets. So I'm going to be fairly prepared just with what I've got in my EDC to be able to get there. But sometimes we go to nice places. You can go out to dinner. You can go to a church function where you've got to kind of like dress up a little bit, wear dress shoes and dress slacks and a shirt and a tie, that kind of a thing. So I think I'm going to need to have a change of clothes in my get home bag. Now, that can also double as having some dry clothes if when you've got to get home, it starts raining, pouring, it's snowing, whatever is going on, you're going to have a dry change of clothes to get into. Shirt, pants, socks, minimum. So that's going to be one of the first things that kind of struck me is it's not there. Yeah, we've got a poncho, got a windbreaker, that kind of a thing, but that's more for like shelter and protection, but didn't really have a change of clothes. I had a pair of socks in mine. I think she may have had a sweatshirt. Yeah, that was it in hers, and that's pretty much it for what we had for clothing. As far as food goes, do we need 2 MREs, or can we just get by with a fortified snack pack or 2 with Cliff Bars and crackers, maybe some of the foil wrapped tuna fish and crackers, that kind of a thing? Maybe that's the better way to go, to keep the weight down, to be able to consolidate our get home bags so that they serve us both. All right, here's all the stuff that we called out of both our get home bags. The red windbreaker, those 2 plain old fishing boxes that were just absolutely redundant with the contents that were in it, and we were able to consolidate the first aid kit into a single pack, and I'll show you that when we go through the contents of the final get home bags. My wife's little ditty bag with some makeup and stuff in it. I took the fire kit out. That's going to be best in full-blown bug-out bag. We took the 2 MREs out and just replaced with a couple extra Cliff Bars. The toilet paper, we already had nearly a full-size roll in there, plus the wet wipes. We took out the flushable wipes, the food rations. We had 4 bundles of zip ties, so I just left one of them in and took out 3. I found an extra pair of socks in there, so I actually had 2 pair of socks, so I took one out, so I've got 1 good pair of wool socks still in my kit. We took out the fuel because we didn't have a stove for it, so I'm going to put that in the bug-out bag along with the extra fuel and the stoves that go along with that kind of fuel. Took out both life straws that we had in our get-home bags and are simply going to use the Berkey Sport bottles because they've already got a filter in them, and we put in some of the iodine tablets in there so that we can purify water on the way. We had 3 sporks, so I trimmed it down to 2, 1 for each of us, and kept the titanium spork out for a different pack. Took out the folding stove because I don't think we're really going to be too awful concerned about cooking. We might be on the road for a day and a half for the most part, so I'm going to leave that folding stove as part of our bug-out bag kits. The fishing kits, extra batteries, some of the other redundant stuff, that's what we took out. We repacked the bug-out bags. My wife's bag turned out to weigh about 2 pounds less, and mine weighed in almost exactly the same, but we made quite a lot of necessary improvements, reduced redundancies, and now we've got the stuff that we think we're really going to need for our get-home bags.